Welcome here inside the Bears Den with Coach Sam Shade. I'm A.A. Moore, and we're here after a big-time ball game and ultimately a big-time Miles College victory. And we're going to talk about it all right here with our esteemed head coach and now our first-place head coach, Sam Shade. And, Coach, certainly a big ball game, and you had to get your guys focused and ready.
Absolutely, but I just want to start and say a lot of respect much respect for Albany State, Coach Quinn Gray. Those guys, they came out and they battled. We jumped out on them early, but they battled back and, made it a barn burner at the end right there. So great job by them also.
And you just had a lot of things to prepare for on your side of the sidelines of on the field. And, you had to get another quarterback ready. You had to put another tailback in there, guys who normally that you would depend on and would want to have playing for this big ball game. I mean, you had to get some other guys prepared. Talk about your week of preparation going into this ball game.
Well, it started with the quarterback, obviously. Cam went down last week. We thought there was a chance that he would be able to play, but, he wasn't able to play. So it's next man up. And Khalil Anglin, he stepped up and, had a really good game, started us off strong, did some good things. He's got some things he got to keep working on. And then at running back, Gennaro Scott, we've been trying to get him back. Wasn't quite close to 100%, so we decided to not play him. And the other guys stepped up, Leatherwood and those guys, Rod Thomas, they all stepped up, did a great job for us. Offensive line did a great job. We lost our right tackle, wasn't able to play Keith Williams. He was having some health issues, so we decided that it'd be best for him not to play. And so we had one of our redshirt freshman offensive linemen, Hartman, stood up and had a pretty good ball game for us.
Well, you heard him say a lot of guys had to come in and step up. And when we come back, we'll start breaking down and see who exactly were those guys that came in and made the big plays. You're watching Inside the Bears Den with Coach Sam Shade. Back inside the Bears Den with Coach Sam Shade, A.A. Moore here with you. And, Coach, when you have these kind of ball games, homecoming is one thing, but now you're back into the standings, and you've got two teams, 3-0. Both of them have won three in a row coming into this ball game, and so momentum is key, and your team took it right away.
Absolutely. It was number one, it was good to be at home. Really appreciate our fans coming out and supporting us the way they did. Obviously, the band, just got behind us and made it a great atmosphere, man. That's the one thing about it. We had a great atmosphere, and our kids were pumped up the whole game. And we felt like it boiled down to who wanted the most. And we felt like, for us trying to protect home, we wanted the most.
Well, you did want the ball first, and you took it. Khalil Anglin, as you said, this was his first career start. He was coming in because of the injury to Cam Ivory, and he came right in and was able to move the ball right down the field.
Right, Khalil Anglin, redshirt sophomore for us. He was one of the first guys. He was in that first initial signing class when I got here, actually. Ended up getting him late. We got some connections down there in South Florida. He's from Killian High School down there, and ended up picking up a guy that's developed for us, and he got himself ready and prepared when we needed him.
Well, he started on Monday, and when he came into this ball game, he wasn't exactly feeling 100% ready to go. We were able to talk to him after the ball game, and this is what he had to say about his first start. Here with quarterback Khalil Anglin. Khalil, your first collegiate start. Were you a little nervous coming into this one?
I won't say I was nervous, but I was a little anxious. But the guys around me, like the O-line, the defense, the coaches, they said they got my back, so we just rocked out.
And it must have felt good to be able to come down and score on your first drive, though. Did that take a little of the anxiousness away?
Yeah, that took a lot away. We came in early, we punched them in the mouth, and we just kept standing on business.
Right. And so, Travante Abner, talk about that play, the first touchdown pass that you threw there.
They had gave us man on the play, and I like my tight end over everybody in the SIAC, so I'm going to give them a chance every time.
So, game got close late. This is your first start, and yet you were able to deliver your team down the field and get that game-winning touchdown to kind of seal it. Just talk about your confidence in leading that team on that last drive.
I mean, I know as an offense we had each other back, so we were just like, let's go get 3 more first downs on a touchdown. We're gonna end it. And that's exactly what we did.
Khalil went 20 of 30 for 225 yards and a touchdowns, no turnovers, and a big Miles win. Golden Bears in first place. Thanks, Khalil.
No problem.
And Coach, Khalil had a big ball game, 20 of 30, as we said before, 225 yards. But that first drive, man, just taking your team down the field, especially he was backed up. It was 3rd down, and he made the big play. Talk about watching him just kind of grow right there in front of your eyes.
Well, you know, I thought one thing about it, I thought our coaching staff did a really good job in the preparation. Our offensive coordinator, Coach Dennis Alexander, I know him and our quarterback coach, Ken Nevins, spent a good amount of time with Khalil to get him ready because he hadn't been taking any of the first-team reps up until this week. So felt like they did a good job. We scripted our first 8 to 10 plays and thought we had a pretty good script and felt like Khalil would be able to make some throws that could get him going, things like that, and that's what happened.
Well, the script went right as planned as we get into the end zone on the touchdown pass to Travante Abner, but you know, maybe not necessarily on script, but certainly right on time. Your defense comes in, and right on cue, it's Matthew Yafanda who comes in with the big pick 6.
Right, we've been talking about Yafanda for the past couple of weeks. Young player, very athletic, got great speed. He's just a playmaker. I mean, he's going to be around the football, and that time he was around it. It was in the air, but also it's our other freshman that's been playing well for us, Keith Green, actually got pressure on that play and put 2 guys in the quarterback's lap, and he caused that errant throw, and Yafanda was able to pick it off and return it for a touchdown.
And pressure was on the agenda, it seemed like, all day today, and it seemed like you knew coming into this ball game that Albany State really wanted to throw the football, and you felt like, hey, we need to stop that if we're going to have our best chance.
Well, we did, but also they've got 3 really good running backs, and the quarterback's a good runner when they try to run him. So we knew it started with us stopping the run, and we had to do that, and to hold these guys under 100 yards rushing, 61 yards. I mean, that's great, and we knew once we did that, we could dictate to them in the passing game, you know, what they were going to be able to do, and you know, then we were able to get them behind the chains a little bit, get some 2nd and longs, 3rd and longs, and our defense capitalized. Our guys up front pent their ears back and got after the quarterback, and the secondary guys did a really good job of trying to limit what they were able to do.
And talk about having those kind of guys to be able to kind of run that kind of game plan that you have, because now you're looking at it all 3 levels. You know, you're certainly getting the pass rush up front with 4. You've got your linebackers who are able to kind of patrol the field sideline to sideline, and then on the back end, your guys are doing an excellent job of covering guys and making the plays when they need them.
Well, yeah, I mean, you hit it on the head. I feel like the last couple of games we played well on all 3 levels on defense, and those guys are just continuing to get better, and they're chomping at the bit and playing hard. There's some guys that probably want to play a little bit more up front that aren't getting the reps that they want. So when they get in there, they're trying to make the best of those reps. And we talk about chasing our best game, chasing perfection, and I think we got some guys that are doing that. You look at the stat sheet, Rock Dowdale shows up, Jamichael shows up with a sack, tackles for losses, Yafando shows up, Jeremiah Hudson Davis shows up with a sack, a lot of tackles. So we got a lot of guys that are being productive on defense.
Well, one thing that was a problem, and it's been a problem on and off this year, are penalties. And it was a penalty that led to the touchdown that Albany State was able to get in the first half. It looked like, you know, it was a perfect play. You block a kick, and you know, you're getting ready to go the other way. Talk about that particular play and what it did to set up that score.
Well, that's a play I've got to be able to go watch on tape, because one of our guys jumped the gap right there. Actually, Rock Dowdale jumped the gap to get in there and block it, and there's a rule in place where you can't use the opponent to lift yourself up and get in there. We had that happen in a game early in the season. Somebody did it to us, and it didn't get called. So, you know, that's one I got to get with the officials on that and just make sure we know the rules on that. So I'll take that one. I'll take that one.
And so it's, you know, it's still close. You're going in at halftime, And even though it looked like your team was dominating the ball game, if you looked at the numbers, that certainly was what it was saying. You still got a close game on the scoreboard. How you feeling going into the half?
Well, I'll tell you this. Looking at Albany State, the third quarter, they've scored the most points on the season in the third quarter. They coming into this game, they had scored 61 points to the opponent's 21 points. So we knew that, and it was a concern. We knew we had to get out here early and be ready to play and be ready to play fast, because this was the quarter where they really started to pull away from people. And our guys answered that. We talked to the team about it, and they took that challenge and did a good job with it.
Well, Miles goes into the half with the lead. We're going to talk about second half football when we come back. But first, we've got our defensive back coach, Antonio Langham. And, man, he's a hoot, man. He's certainly a very knowledgeable guy we love to have on the staff. And we'll talk to him when we come back. You're watching Inside the Bears Den with Coach Sam Shade. Back here inside the Bears Den, A.A. Moore, and we'll have Coach Shade back in just a moment. But right now, we have our esteemed, our Hall of Fame defensive backs, Coach Antonio Langham, here with us. And, Coach, thank you for joining us here inside the Bears Den.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be on with you, man.
Well, I tell you what, man, you have had the kind of career that a lot of times, people don't have to tell about it because they already know. You played at Alabama, won a national championship, went to the NFL, first-round pick, all of those things. And so now you're here, you're coaching college ball. Talk a little bit about your journey and why it has you here.
Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you. When I finished in the NFL and retired, my intentions were never to coach football. I'll be honest. It was never to coach football. But I used to go over to Mountain Brook High School, and I would just go over there and work out and try to just keep in shape, maintain a little exercise. And Joey Jones, who played at Alabama, was the head coach at Mountain Brook. And he used to see me out there every day, and he finally came out there one day. He was like, look, you're over here every day. Why don't you stop by practice a few times and just watch? If any pointers you can get my DB coaches or my DBs, give it to them. And I started going by practice and watching practice, and before you lo and behold, I'm out here coaching. Next thing I know, I got a coaching uniform, and I'm at Mountain Brook for a year. So then Joey leaves Mountain Brook, and he goes to Birmingham Southern. I'm like, I know I don't want the college life. No way, shape, form, or fashion. I don't care what division it is, what level it is. So I step away from coaching for a while. I did 1 year at Mountain Brook. Then I step away from coaching. Then Andrew Zhao gets the job. He gets a job at Montevallo High School. So we had a function one night, and he asked me, like, man, come and speak to my team. So I go by, and I speak to the team at Montevallo High School, and he's like, anytime you want to come back by and stop by and get pointers, get some help, hey, I'm open to it. So I make the hike over to Montevallo every now and then. Before I knew it, we getting close to the season, and he tosses me a coaching uniform. He said, just in case you ever decide, you really want to get into it. So before I know it, I'm making 2 trips over to Montevallo a week, 3 trips. Now I'm all in. And that's how my coaching journey, I guess that was God's way of saying, oh, you said you wasn't doing it, but I got all the players for you. Your job is to go teach these young men. So here I am now.
And so you're here with Miles, and I'm already looking at our DBs this year. Last year, they were coming along just as well. That tutelage that you're giving them is certainly paying dividends. Talk about your work with these guys and what you're seeing out of them.
Before we get into that, I'll make you laugh. So when Coach Shade Sam first got the job, I was one of the first guys he called, and he was like, I'm taking a job at Miles. He said, I need a DB coach. How you feel about it? This is a true story. My first question to him was, do y'all still practice at 5 a.m.? Because I know Ruffin and all them and McKenna and them, and they tell me what time they go to practice. I said, do y'all still practice at 5 a.m.? And he was like, yeah, we do. I said, man, you know how much I love you, but that's out of the question for me right now. My body was not built to get up at 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning and be over here coaching. But, man, it's amazing that when you have credibility, young men and women, they'll listen to you. When you have credibility, they will listen to you. And the good thing about me coming into this position last year in July, which is now my second season here, they trust what I tell them. And like I tell them all the time, I'm never going to tell you anything wrong. I don't know everything. Just because I played on every level, I don't know everything. There's some stuff I'm still learning about coaching DB, some new styles that are out there that I'm bringing to those guys that we're all learning at the same time. So me being able to learn new stuff and give it to them and help them grow their career is an amazing journey. I'm enjoying it. Sometimes they can be knuckleheads, but I love them. But I had to punish them sometimes, stuff I don't like to do, but sometimes you had to do it just to get their attention a little bit.
And so this is obviously not Division I here at Miles, where you played, and you played at the top level. But why is this great? Why is this a great situation, not just for coaches who want to come here, but for the players who come here?
Because, I mean, you still get to live out that dream of playing football. A lot of these guys are not ready to let go of their dream. So they get to come here, and just imagine this staff that we have. You have about 5 or 6 guys on this staff that play NFL football in some shape, form, or fashion for a level. Coach Shade, Coach Shelley, Coach McKinney, D.A., myself, Coach Pugh. This is, as a young man, you hear about this staff, you like, wow, a lot of these guys play NFL ball. Got 2 college Hall of Famers on this staff. Got a lot of All-Americans on this staff. What would keep you from coming to Miles College to get this tutelage? And we know guys in the NFL, we feel you good enough, you feel you good enough, we can always make a call to get you a trial with the NFL. So why would you not come here? But like I tell my kids, I love the game of football and I love them, but I love education more than I love this football game. I want to see them get their education, get a degree, because you're never going to play football the rest of your life. At some point, it's going to end. It's going to end. It ended for me, and for Coach Shade, it's going to end for them. Now I need you to have something else to fall back on when this is all said and done.
Well, wise words from certainly a wise man and a great man. Again, he's done it on all levels and is bringing it here to Miles College, and we're glad to have him. Antonio Langham, thank you for joining us here inside the Bears Den.
Thank you for having me, man.
And when we come back, we'll get down to breaking down the second half of the Albany State game. You're watching Inside the Bears Den with Coach Sam Shade. Back here inside the Bears Den with Coach Sam Shade. I'm A.A. Moore, and Coach, certainly you have to be really happy and really proud to have Antonio Langham on your staff.
Absolutely. He's a guy that's been around ball for a long time, has played it on every level and had success. Kind of got his start in coaching on the high school level, which I feel like that's a level that you learn a lot, and you learn not to assume, and you really learn how to coach and develop guys. And he's brought that to this level over the past 2 years.
Yeah, and our defensive backs have certainly been playing great this season. And as you look at the score, it's 20-7. You know, you're coming in, and you just said before the break that the third quarter is where you want to watch out for this Albany State team. And they got the football first, but wasn't able really to do anything. And you were able to sit on that lead for a little while.
Right, our defense accepted the challenge. Actually, we deferred. Well, basically, if we had won the toss, we would have deferred so we could have got our offense on the field to start the second half, because we knew that they had a lot of success, their offense did, in the third quarter of ball games, but it didn't work that way. They won the toss, so we ended up having to kick off to them because they deferred.
And so the defense did its job, and it had been doing its job all game long, and we were able to talk to Jamichael Rogers, who was out there on that defensive line making some of those big plays and talking about what him and his crew was able to do to Albany State. Jamichael, big ball game for Miles today. First place on the line. Talk a little bit about what you all were feeling out there before you even came into this ball game.
We was feeling a lot of emotions. You know, we lost to these guys 4 years in a row. We had a chip on our shoulder, and we just had to come prove a point. Like, hey, we're the team this year.
And this defense, obviously, knowing that this offense, they like to get up and down the field. They like to throw the football. But what this team does very well is rush the passer. And you guys made a concerted effort at getting into the backfield today.
Yes, sir. We did a very good job with that today. I think we had a total of 6 or 7 total sacks together, you know. And we had a lot of TFLs, too, so we was playing behind the line of scrimmage today.
And I'm sure it helped a lot. You get in front 14-0, and it kind of changes what they wanted to do and help what you all wanted to do. Talk about that interception about Matthew Ufando that really set you all up real big.
Yeah, you know, Matthew Ufando, he's a great guy. He one of our young linebackers, you know, coming in as a freshman making big plays. Hey, can't do no better than that.
Big game for JaMychal. He had 5 tackles. He had a sack. Like you said, the team was in the backfield all afternoon long. Great game by JaMychal and the Golden Bears defense. Thanks for joining us.
All right, appreciate you.
And Coach, JaMychal had a big ball game. He had a sack. He had 7 sacks amongst all of your guys. And, you know, that sack number has been high. It's been, you know, a big part of what you've been able to do all season long. Talk about that pressure after the quarterback.
Well, we got a bunch of guys up front that can get after the quarterback. And we had some guys that have been out with some injuries that have come back. Zion Sharp was out, obviously, lost his grandmother, missed some time. We're trying to get Javante Cooper back. He's been out since, you know, he was out early in the season. So he's not completely healthy, but he's out there. So we've got a lot of options up front. So we can keep our guys fresh. We're playing 10 guys up front. We're rotating, and we're trying to keep guys fresh. And that's why we're able to get out the quarterback the way we are.
Well, you get into the end zone again. It looks like you're going to run away with this ball game. It's 26-7, but it's 26-7 because you're having some issues with the kicking game. And right. I know you've tried everything to kind of rectify that. You missed a field goal. You've had a couple of extra points blocked. Talk about, you know, how you all are working on that and trying to rectify that issue.
Well, you know, obviously we know we got to get better in the kicking game. We've got to continue to work on that, and that's football. You just keep working on things. The things that you don't do well, you keep working on them, and try to keep doing the things well that you're doing well. I think Rod Smith is doing a good job in the punting game. Feel like he's flipping the field some, giving us some field position. Our returners, we're not getting the big returns that we want, but we're getting positive yardage, punt returns and kickoff returns. But we got to keep working to get those guys loose because we've got an all-conference kick returner in Jalen Peterson and Jaquel Fells. I felt like he should have been an all-conference guy as a punt returner last year. So we got guys that can do something with it. We got to get those guys loose, and that's something we got to continue to work on. But the PAT field goal area definitely got some issues there that we got to fix.
Well, again, it was 26-7 in Albany State. They keep coming back. They're putting points on the board. And now it's 26-21, and your defense had to come out and make a play. But more than anything, you were able to get something to happen on special teams. Talk about that play there.
Well, you know, that was big. We actually we gave them a formation and a personnel group on punt team that we hadn't showed them the whole game. You know, we knew they were going to try to come after it. So with that formation, they had to kind of get out of what they were trying to do to us, and I felt like it caused some problems. Rod had a really good punt, great hang time, and, you know, it ends up the kid, he tries to fair catch it. All right, he muffs it, but he muffed it forward to one of our guys. So in that instance, our guy doesn't have to get out of the way if the ball comes to him. Mm-hmm. But if the ball had stayed in the vicinity of the returner, then we would have had to let him catch it. So, you know, good punt by Rod, good job in the coverage area of recovering that, and that was a really positive play for us in this ball game.
Then you finally were able to get some runs downfield, and you were able to finish it off. Javante Leatherwood, a second touchdown of the ball game, and that pretty much put you up a couple of scores, and now your defense can kind of finish it off.
Right. I just thought we had some great efforts across the board. Offensively, when we really needed to run it, like you said at the end, I thought the O-line stepped up, and as Coach Alexander would say, man, I thought they did more. You know, we're always pushing these guys to get more out of them, and feel like our coaching staff did a great job of pushing our players today to really get the most out of their abilities.
And we didn't really talk about it a whole lot, but your running game gets it done. You said Gennaro Scott, he's out again, and we saw last week it was Javante Leatherwood had the big ball game. He gets the 2 touchdowns today, but you got also Roderick Thomas, who was able to do some big things. He had more than 100 yards, big 43-yard run as well. Talk about your stable, man, because it doesn't matter. It seems like whoever you plug in, the work is getting done.
Well, Rod Thomas, man, local guy from McCall, Alabama, McAdory High School. He's one of those guys that he's a second-year player, but great kid, great in the classroom, gives you everything he's got out here on the field. And that whole group, our running back group, I don't know if I mind which one we put out there. Edward Osley does a good job when he's out there. Leatherwood, obviously. And we actually want to get the ball to – we got a couple other guys we want to try to get it to a little bit. But all those guys are doing a great job. Coach Stan Connor, man, it's great to have him coaching those running backs. He does a tremendous job with that group.
Well, final score was 32-21, Miles on top. Winners of 4 in a row now, 4-2 overall. But more importantly, 4-0 in the conference, and you're sitting on top, but you've got a big game coming up against Clark Atlanta on the road. It's their homecoming, and that crazy-looking red field, man. I know that has very little to do with how you all are going to prepare, but that's got to be something that you might have to actually contend with. Talk about this ball game coming up against Teddy Keaton and the Clark Atlanta Panthers.
What a red field. Man, I tell you, so I think we're going to be able to wear our white uniforms for that one. So, we should be able to see each other pretty good. But on a different note, around here we talk about controlling the controllables. And coming into this game, we knew we were fighting for first place in the conference, and our guys basically stepped up to that challenge and controlled what they could control. And, going to Clark Atlanta, they've got a really good football team over there. Coach Teddy Keaton, got a lot of respect for him and his staff. L.C. Cole, defense coordinator over there. Got some great coaches on that staff, and obviously some great players, starting with that quarterback, David Wright, who came in here last year at Allen, when he was at Allen, and, man, it was a barn burner out here. So we know, we pretty much know what to expect and what we got to prepare for, and it should be another great ball game for the SIAC with us going over there for homecoming.
Well, it's going to certainly be an explosive atmosphere in Atlanta. Again, Clark Atlanta's homecoming in. We hope that you are able to make the trip over to Atlanta, because we'll certainly need all of that energy from our Golden Bears fans. Again, Miles will take on Clark Atlanta. It's going to be a 1 o'clock Central kick. 1 o'clock Eastern kick, 12 o'clock Central. Make sure you get there early, man. It's tough to get over to their stadium during their homecoming. But another win keeps us rolling towards a chance to get into that championship game and try to bring another one home here to Fairfield. More going on with the Miles Golden Bears athletic program. Volleyball got some wins. They won 2 of 4 in Mobile last week. This week, they go up to Memphis. They get another win, a 5-set victory over Savannah State. They're playing a whole lot better going into the stretch run of the season. So great to see Rashandra Matthews-Scott get this program back towards respectability, and not only respectability, fighting towards a possible spot into the playoffs. Our golf team playing in the SAS Championships. Hopefully we'll get a great outcome from them. Go to milesgoldenbears.com. We'll have all of the results from the tournament. Basketball season's coming up. We're only a couple weeks away from that. Wow. So the Lady Bears looking to win another SIAC title. The Golden Bears trying to do the same thing. So we want you to be sure that you're supporting all of our programs as we make those pushes towards championships. And we're glad that you've joined us here on Inside the Bears Den. Coach Sam Shade, he's 4-2. The Golden Bears are 4-2, and we're looking to get some more wins starting next week. Thank you for joining us. I'm A.A. Moore. You're Inside the Bears Den with Coach Sam Shade.